in your opinion, what makes a program or an activity female friendly?
Sorry?
In your opinion, what makes a program or an activity female friendly, like woman friendly? What makes an activity or a program welcoming to women?
I think it's more on meeting them on where they are and for who they are, as in on a human level, or not on the fact that I'm using substances on anything that makes them feel human and acceptance, a place of where I feel like I belong. Someone cares to look at me and say, "How are you doing?" And follow up on a conversation that we had on a previous maybe just to say, I didn't see you last week. Where were you? Those are the smallest things that they get, find them, they make them feel attracted to come again because they can see I am actually human when I come here. Someone cares about me. I'm given something to eat. Those are the other things, you understand? We do give sanitary packs. We do hygiene packs. Those are the little things that you find them it's easier for them to be able to come more and more. And
I do also think that the time, space, and specifically labeling something as
for
women
yeah,
makes them more likely to come, because a lot of the females that are in the women's group don't necessarily come to the drop-in center every day. There's ones that only come during that
on
time
Friday.
on the Friday. So I think that slot and that giving them that space makes it much more female friendly.
And you know the funny thing about that, some of them would actually start by coming to the women's group and end up coming to the DIC more often.
Yeah.
And why do you think that they go to the group only and not to the DIC? Do they feel a bit awkward being with the others in the DIC, or that's not an issue? It's just because they have.
Remember, that's where they feel and I belong. That's where I feel I belong more on this and I belong on that. You know, so some of the issues that I think it's more around that, especially some women who do not inject. Because within the DIC, there's a whole lot of clients, males and females that who are injecting. But when it comes to a woman's group, it's women that uses drugs, so there's no more of that injection thing. So they say, okay, this is more on woman, not the drug, and actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I understand. And did you? I don't know if you or other people in the team were trained somehow in assisting women who use drugs or their needs, and if you were, did that help? And if you were not, do you think that's needed?
So yeah, we've had now, like recently, we've had specific training in for women that use drugs. Specifically, but your leg was broken that time.
Oh no!
We wasn't in that training because her leg was broken. But we most of the psychosocial staff and some was specifically trained did a training for women who use drugs.
And do you remember what was in the training, and if it helped at all in your
Look, it was a bit difficult because it was now last year, like within COVID, and then we had to do a lot of it online, and it was a group of us, and it became a bit awkward. But I think it was a lot of the training was, from what I remember, it was more showing because the training was done with trainers from, where were they from? Kenya. I think they were in Kenya.
Okay.
And then it was more on what they were doing at that moment, for women. So that's what I remember, a lot of impact on what they were doing.
So more sharing of what they are experiencing.
Yeah, more sharing than an actual training.
Okay, yeah. But did that help you to develop your approach in your work, or Not
Not necessarily, because we were already sort of running, and it's also context was like place specific. It was because I went Kenya, we were here, so but like I said, I think that was just because of the fact that it was COVID and we had to do it online, and they were in Kenya and we were a big group, so it became a bit difficult to do a training like that, and there was internet problems and things. So I think there was probably more to the training. We just didn't get to experience it at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think there would be anything needed? Like, do you miss something that you would like to know, or?
It would be for me. I think for the sort of training. For instance, on now we learn as we go. You know, so spending a whole lot of time with them and understanding the dynamics of substance abuse, but not specifically on no training at that time. But we would if anyone would be trained on that, and we needed to compare how far are we off in terms of someone who's been trained in that department, and also to understand what are we doing wrong, and in terms of training and on all, because mostly now we're going in terms of experience on social website as a counselor, but not specifically TNSN. And those are the times. It's the same thing when you actually when we learn about trauma, we kind of learn a whole lot of things. You think, you know what? I didn't think this was wrong. I think at that time I was helping, but because I didn't know so much about trauma, so I actually, you understand, that's one of those things that we're thinking. We would like to actually have a training specifically so that we can understand what we're doing right and wrong, and what is still we're doing wrong, but it has been working.
Yeah.
I think the structures of the training on what we were learning, like I was hoping that we'd get a lot more insight into like sex working and using and things like that, as to where we can step in, and when it comes to gender-based violence and using, because it's different to normal gender-based violence when you're having someone that's using substance and experiencing gender-based violence. So for me, I would have wanted more of specific structure to the training. And I think that's what would have still needed.
Okay. And in that specific topic of gender-based violence, what do you discuss now? What are the things that come?
We have actually done it in different ways. First of, I think the first that I did was more learning about the different types of violences, and then was more specifically on women. What do you call it? The alphabet. I usually get the alphabet wrong, and then and lately I'm more like know that they know about what it is, but they how do I how, we kind of sensitize them not to accept it or excuse it as if it is okay. You understand? It is not okay, it is wrong. This is how it starts and it builds up to this. Because we all know what it is, but how sensitive are you to it? You understand? And the fact that you allow it, what will be the result of those things? It has happened so much that you think it's normal. It is not normal. You understand? For me, that I've just taken that approach, and actually we're doing something today, and then we take that approach. It is not normal, and we look at ways to be safe. Especially, we had what was it last year when there was a big thing about this woman that went to the police station, was killed by a guy.
Oh yeah. She was shot by a police officer. Her husband was a police officer, so she went to go and in divorce papers in that one.
And the other one, the one was killed in the
other one is too.
Post office. In the post office.
Oh, that was a student.
Yes, student. Yes. So we actually look at, we try to relate more on how is it happening on the street and how can you be safe. You understand? And we had, remember we had, when Coach 10th October when he came, we looked at how to make a protection order, what you should do in cases if this happens. We try, and they had also questions so that you know what you do and you already know what it is, but